The Tax Collector is directed by David Ayer and stars Bobby Soto, Shia LaBeouf, and Jose Corneo Martin, as well as others. And it tells the story of a quote-unquote tax collector who goes around collecting payments for a local crime lord. He has a pretty good life with his wife and his kids until one day a newer, more evil crime lord moves in and forces him to make a decision that could compromise the safety of his family and his friends. The Tax Collector. If you've seen David Ayer's films like End of Watch, Harsh Times, of course Training Day, which actually came to mind while I was watching this, you pretty much know he has an affinity for these types of movies, and he's pretty good at it, more or less. You know, I think End of Times is pretty underrated with Jake Gyllenhaal. I thought that was pretty good. Of course, everybody knows about Training Day, and even when he did Fury with Shia LaBeouf in there as well, his movies always tend to focus in on just a group of kind of rough around the edges type of guys, you know, who more or less have moral compasses that don't quite point north, but they're not like bad people. And here we have a similar type of characters, but it's not a bad movie, and I liked it for what it was. So let's get into it. First of all, let's start with the acting here. And although these characters don't have that much to do, which I'll get into in the negatives, I think what they are given, they do a pretty good job with. I'll focus on our three leads here, and that would be Bobby Soto, Jose Corneo Martin, and Shia LaBeouf, of course. So let's get this out of the way immediately. Shia LaBeouf's character, aka Creeper. Now, I'm not, how to put this, Shia LaBeouf, the person, I don't think I would ever want to meet. Shia LaBeouf, the actor, I enjoy his work. I really do. I think he's a very gifted, very talented young man who just is a bit insane, for want of a better word. I don't know if you want to call it eccentric, whatever, maybe even a little lost. But as an actor, I think he does wonderful work, and I actually like his choices. He tends to think outside the box. He doesn't go for the, you know, mainstay heroic types. He plays some really strange types of characters, and I think he nails it. I really like the work he does, more times than not. And here, there was some backlash against this movie because people thought Shia was portraying a Latino man. He's not. It's just a case of, this is a white guy who grew up in a Latino neighborhood. So of course his mannerisms, his personality, the way he dresses, the way he acts, all these different things, it's a part of his nurture over nature, that sort of thing. I have friends, think Eminem, you know, that kind of thing. I have friends like this. I have friends who vary in different races, and depending on where you grew up, you tend to mimic that behavior. It's not a matter of you pretending. This is who you are because this is how you grew up. It's as simple as that. I'm very, very tomboyish. I've always preferred boy stuff to girl stuff when it came to toys and games and everything like that. And what seems odd to most girls who grew up playing with Barbie and that sort of thing, it was just, for me, it was the fact that in my neighborhood, I was the only girl. I am not kidding, right? I was surrounded by boys. I grew up with a bunch of boys. So it's the stuff I learned to like, you know? I grew up with boy stuff. So it's that sort of thing going on here. I don't think it's meant to be insulting, or I don't think it's whitewashing or anything like that. I just think this guy is a product of his environment, and that's it. So I hope people don't just not watch the movie because they think that's what this is. That said, he does a good job. You know, he's playing this kind of one of those guys who would do anything for his friend. There is no gray area with him. If his friend wants to get something done, he's the guy he'd bring him to do it, you know. Whereas Bobby Soto's character is the criminal with the moral compass. He's a guy who there's certain lines he will not cross, and he does come across as quote-unquote soft in situations that other people would probably kill a person for. He would forgive, you know, that sort of thing. And they do this, of course, so that we will root for him to survive and to succeed. And then we have Jose Coneo Martin, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, who plays his character is actually called Conejo. And he is terrifying. There's no other word for it. His character here, there's no real character development, sadly, but the way he plays his character is a monster. This is not a human being, this is a monster. And listen guys, I don't know anything about cartels, thank God. I have never been exposed to that sort of stuff, but I'm gonna assume that these guys can be that evil and be that insane, you know. This is what this character is, and what makes it a little more terrifying is he's also really smart. They do show you that. So you put those two things together, a person who there is no line they would not cross, and that's a villain that you would be terrified for somebody like that to get a hold of your family, that sort of thing. So I think the actors here carry the roles and keep you invested in watching this movie, because other than them, there's not much going on here. This is a small budget film. It feels like a day in the life of a criminal, that sort of thing, where we're just following them around for 24 hours, and then of course stuff happens and then we see how they deal with it, actions and consequences. But that's about it. The story itself here is way thin. There's not much going on. There's like zero character development for the other players in this, and it just feels like there was so much more that could be done with this story if you just spent a little time on those characters, because these people come and go and we really do not care. The only relationship that you're invested in is the one of the main lead character and his family, because it's the only relationship we really spend any time with, you know. So you pretty much, you kind of care what's gonna happen there. I thought the focus would have been a little bit more on the best friend aspect of it too, and there is some of that at play here, because we do spend like I said, we spend a day or two with these two characters. But if they're just giving us a bit more to who Creeper was and why he was the way he is and all that, and how their relationship, what made them so close, because they were almost like brothers. If we had more of that, then yes, hello, come here. Say hi. Hi. Okay, wait for me. I'll open the door for you. So if we had more of that, then the movie would have had more of an impact. As it is, this film is a one and done. It's not a movie that I could see myself rewatching. There's some brutality to this that will definitely make you cringe. There is, I mean, a lot of the violence, I think some people might get turned off by, but it does have a sense of realism to what's happening here. Again, I did not grow up like this, so I have no idea how much of this is way over the top and how much of this people will be like, yeah, that's how my neighborhood really is, you know. But as a film, I would give this a 5 out of 10. It's not a bad movie, it's just an average one. And that's gonna be it, guys. So if you've seen this movie, or when you've seen this movie, comment below and let me know what you thought of it. Maybe you thought it was fantastic, maybe you thought it was equal to a film like Training Day, you know, that sort of thing. Let me know where you stand on this, and if you like this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. It's much appreciated. If you're new and you'd like to subscribe to my channel, you can click on my face when it pops up right over there, and you can check out past videos somewhere along that side. And until next time, guys, bye bye.